On the air with me this morning, happy to have two great guests, and we're going to be talking with Mason County Sheriff Casey Salisbury, also Mason County Jail Chief Kevin Hanson. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
Thanks for coming on and talking with me.
See ya.
We talked with you last week about the jail contract. Now we got the guy who actually is doing the work around here. Kevin's in to tell us a little bit more about
this. Guy's good. He's actually probably one of the few people in the state, and we're thrilled to have Kevin, that has actually went from the position that we're in now to actually building a new jail.
Yeah.
He's been through the whole process and understands that, and so we were thrilled to get Kevin to come on board with us. And we're working on some new programs right now, and I'll let Kevin talk to you about. We've been outsourcing, you know that. That the funding wasn't there to continue to do that, so we've finally finished the part of the jail that we've remodeled, moved it around a bit, and that's finally done, and we're bringing people back, but we're running out of space. And I'll let Kevin talk about that.
Gives you all the good stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Running out of space. All right, talk to us about kind of so how do you reconfigure a jail, or how do you do this?
Well, when the sheriff asked me to come in, he asked me to, very first day, he took me in there and had me take a look at that place, and I didn't know what the heck we were going to do with it. And, they just built it to bring prisoners back.
Yeah.
And so there was, they had, the undersheriff of the sheriff had talked about a 3-phase program to get us into the future here in Mason County as far as incarceration and keeping people in jail. And the first phase was to outsource, basically, is to put a cap on the jail so that it's safe both for the staff and the inmates, and that we meet the constitutional needs of the inmates. And so we did that. They outsourced about a year and a half ago. They started outsourcing, and phase 2 of that program was to create what they call alternative sentencing programs, and that includes home monitoring, work release, day reporting, and we've done that. We've actually last week we got our first person on home monitoring, and we got another one signed up for this week. And so the program's just being developed, and we're growing it. And what we did with that DSU is upstairs, or the remodeled area that the sheriff was just talking about, is the upstairs, we made that into the alternative sanctions area.
Okay.
And we're also going to put the expanded inmate labor program up there. We have 18 beds up there, and right now we have 10 inmates up there, and those are the people you're going to be seeing in the community working alongside the streets, picking up garbage, and we're going to create and develop programs so that those inmates can get out to the nonprofit organizations and do labor for them. So we did that in the 1st of March. The facility was finally finished, and we were able to bring all of our female inmates back from Nisqually.
Okay.
So the bleeding and the outsourcing has stopped. We have the females back, but now, like the sheriff said, again, we're
coming back.
No
with
vacancy.
the numbers.
Yeah, no vacancy. Yeah, for sure.
I think the thing is, it's the part that's working well on this. I have a big concern on the other end of it, is that we came out with this 3-part plan to do that, to outsource and then to develop the alternative sentencing program, bring people back, and move as many people out of the actual jail population that we could into the alternatives to sentencing to free up beds.
Yeah.
The challenge behind that is a few years ago, we talked about a theory that we had, that if we were able to have jail space and be able to hold people accountable, and they knew they'd be held accountable, that our crime rates would come down. And we've really seen that in other places where things are really, really going up, as you can see on some of the newscasts. Ours, we've actually been able to bring our crime rate down in many areas, a lot, compared to many places. The concern is, though, now when you're full, where do you put those people?
Right.
And that makes a big difference. So, we're working on that alternatives to sentencing program. It's good. It's good for the community, and it's good for the inmates, because they like to be out doing that. It's productive. It gets something done while you're serving your time, and those are very, very, very low risk inmates. So we've been working on this for quite some time. We've had this program set up, and we're working on it. But it's the jail's the same size. What I liken it to is when you're putting groceries in a grocery bag. If you put it in there right, you can get more in there.
Yeah.
But the bag is only so big.
Yeah.
And there becomes a point where it doesn't matter how you keep messing around with what's going in the bag. There's not enough room.
When it comes to the home monitoring thing, these are the anklet bands that have the GPS on them.
That's
What's
right.
the cost difference between keeping someone in the jail versus that type of a system?
It costs well over $100 in hard costs
Okay.
to keep somebody in jail for a day. And on the home monitoring program, the inmates actually pay for it.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay, as
So-
part of the restitution.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then on the when the crews are out and about, and I can imagine if someone's listening and they go, well, so these folks are going to be in betwixt our other nonprofits. Kind of explain this situation. How many like guards will be there? If you're seeing folks on the sides of the roads picking up trash, the kind of the numbers with that.
We've got two. We're going to be running 2 litter crews, and there'll be one corrections community service officer is what we call them,
Yeah.
supervising the inmates.
Okay.
On those 2 litter programs. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to establish a training program for people like Public Works or county road department or whatever to come over and check inmates out. And they're going to be low risk offenders. I mean, if they, people in there for DUI or no vol or whatever.
Sure.
And we will teach the people how to watch for manipulation. How to keep themselves safe, how to keep the jail safe and stuff upon their return. And we've done that before in the past where I have, and it's actually worked out really well and provided hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of free labor basically to the county.
And you can kind of tell the bad dudes who will take advantage of this and not let them out, do those kind of things, versus ones who really want to help.
Absolutely.
Or they're ready to.
And remember, most of these folks, they're going to be in there for more than a few days in that program, and they want to keep returning. They want to be able to go out during the day and do something rather than sit around all day. And so they want to do well in that program and get along. And actually, to tell you the truth, and like I told you, like a garbage program, there was a couple weeks in a row where our crew was picking up over 1,000 pounds of garbage a day. They went 10 days in a row at 10,000 pounds. That's a lot of stuff laying around the community that they were able to pick up in our community. And on top of that, there are a lot of those, they're separating that out. And so a lot of that was recyclables, for the aluminum, things like that. So, it's very productive, but they want to be in that program. So they want to be great today so they can be back tomorrow.
What's the number of folks in there that would qualify for this? And if you're looking at alternative sentencing, the number of folks in the jail that could be eligible for something like this to go on to home monitoring maybe?
Well, I'm hoping to have 20 to 30 people on work release / home monitoring.
Okay.
As well as, right now we've got 10 out of the 18 beds filled for the expanded litter crew program and the expanded work crew program. So, I'm hoping to take 30 a day between the combination of all 3 programs and free up those beds in the jail, basically.
That really help you guys' numbers, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Anything else, Casey, going on this morning?
Yeah, I just wanted to recognize a couple people. I had a really nice letter from the Criminal Justice Training Commission. Our recruits right now have just been doing an incredible job up there performance-wise and the top of the class each time going through out of Mason County. And that's tough to do. That's very, very tough to do. And one of the things that we talked about, some of the training that we've worked on here through that law enforcement breakfast that I have with other sheriffs and chiefs that I keep. A while back, we had one regarding recognizing people with mental health issues and how to deal with that. It was an 8-hour training, and CJTC came down for that. Well, it's so interesting that we couldn't afford to do that, so I kind of went to CJTC and worked it out with a former sheriff that runs the academy to bring down some training officers and do that training here. Well, kind of a payback. One of our recruits is up at the academy, and while in the academy parking lot up there in I want to say Berrien, I always call it Seattle, but Berrien, was moving through the parking lot and recognized that there was a person in the parking lot that was kind of struggling. And she watched and kind of monitored it and realized this person was really in distress. And through being able to recognize that and work with that person, the academy wrote a letter of commendation from the academy commander, recognizing Deputy Melissa Wood for her work up at the academy, and notes that she went above and beyond the call of duty that occurred on her own time. This occurred at the end of the day.
Wow.
She could have gotten in her car and left and went home,
Yeah.
and she stayed there with the person until the proper aid crew and things like that got there. And actually, she did that on her own with another recruit. They helped out well into the time of bad traffic that they could have been home already.
Yeah.
So I wanted to recognize Melissa.
Oh, wow.
And then another one that I just throw out there is another very nice letter from a person from the public recognizing our volunteer staff. Lee Swoboda is one of our volunteers that does a tremendous job for us. Lee was working at the front counter at the North office, which is all volunteers. And was able to summon assistance for a person, and they sat down and wrote a really nice letter recognizing that Lee and then also Deputy Sisson that showed up were able to accommodate them for kind of a different kind of an issue. But it was nice that they noted that, and that'll go and both for Lee and Jason Sisson and Melissa Wood in their file. So
Yeah, that's
very
great.
nice to get those.
That is great, for sure. Kevin Hanson, Casey Salisbury, thank you so much for coming on today, talking with us about these things always. Good to
Thanks.
see you.
Hey, thanks for having us.